So good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm going to tell you, I am warmer than I was in Ohio, but it's like 54 degrees here this morning, and that's not fun.
Yeah, I think it's 60 degrees here this morning. And yeah, so
Yeah, it's not great, but it is, at least it's not drizzling snow or there's not ice on my sidewalk I
yeah.
dealt with last week.
I know, I heard it's been really cold this weekend. But I will be leaving this cold to go to colder because I'm going to Kentucky. One of my nieces, my second oldest niece, is graduating from UK.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
Yeah, so heading out there, yeah, UK, University of Kentucky. I always get University of Kentucky and Kansas University mixed up, their acronyms
Oh,
for their initials, because I'm from Missouri, so it's all about KU. But
I,
anyway.
I got to tell you, I still can't wrap my head around that you're a Missouri girl. I've tried for 6 years. I've tried. I just can't get it.
I am hillbilly through and through, and I wear it proudly. I love it. I, I very much appreciate my Midwestern roots.
I do too. I do
Mhm.
too. I was having a conversation with some random people, which I often do. And we were all from the Midwest, some part in that Midwest of, the middle part of the country in the North. And we all feel the same way. We're just different people.
Yeah.
We're just different people. And then we transplant ourselves to places where there's other transplants that are not necessarily from those areas.
Yeah.
And it can be quite comical.
Absolutely. So I have to say, go Army beat Navy. We won on the game this weekend on Saturday. Well, yeah, Saturday night. My
I
team.
think watching the Facebook comments was more fun than watching the game.
I know it is. It gets pretty intense sometimes and comical.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I'm an Ohio girl and Michigan, they played Michigan, and that's always a challenge.
yeah.
And my rental car last week had a Michigan plate on it. I actually went back in and asked them if they had another car. So I'm sorry, but I can't drive a car with a Michigan plate.
Did they give you a different one?
No. And they weren't humored. they,
Funny.
they were not having a good morning, and it was only 9 o'clock.
Oh my goodness. Well, our friend Dean Bunchu would appreciate your loyalty to the Ohio State football. That's
Hey,
hilarious.
we are diehards. We are diehards.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. So tomorrow is Diane's next marketing class for Action Zone over at the ECC. If anybody is available, it starts at 10 a.m.
Yeah, she has gotten some great feedback from those workshops. There's a different topic every time she speaks. She does it once a month. I think it's the second Tuesday of each month at the ECC. And if you can get there to do it, to be there, well worth your time, because first of all, we all struggle with marketing, and although it might seem easy and maybe even intuitive to just throw some crap up on Facebook or Instagram or tweet something, it can absolutely be a total waste of time unless you know what you're doing. And she does a great job of helping people understand not just how to do it, but why they're doing it and where is the best place to do it and how to execute it most efficiently with the best rate of return on investment of your time. You're on mute again, and I get another quarter.
Well, because the dogs were barking.
Oh,
So I was like, yeah, I have not had the chance to sit through our class. It's on my calendar for the next class in January 2023. Can't even believe it. Just like totally blows my mind. January 10th. Yes, I will be there.
yeah, we are 19 days away from looking back on 2022 as last year.
I know, when I just shared our video to my Facebook page, I put 2022 is slipping away. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because we get old, as we get older, time goes fast, or just we live such busy lives that time goes faster. And we seem
Both.
to, yeah, yeah, probably the I don't know what the mantra is going to be for 2023, but I'm going to propose that it is focus on you time. That
Mm.
that whatever that means for you, if you wanted to pick up a new hobby, if you wanted to be intentional about morning habits or evening habits, or read for enjoyment rather than for business, which I have not done in years, but I did last week, picked up a book at the airport and I read it during the week. And I can't even remember the last time I read something just because it looked like an interesting story and not because it was a business book. So
Yeah.
my goal in 2023 is to promote obviously success for your business and success in your life, but I think we neglect ourselves in the process. And so I think we need to focus on that. We need to be intentional about spending time for ourselves.
I like that. My goal for 2023 is just to be organized. I feel like for years I've been trying to do this minimalist thing, and
I remember.
and then I look around and I'm like, where'd all this crap come from?
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, mine is my Santa. Y'all could see my Santa.
I see him. Yeah.
Nana bought that for me last year when I told her that my office was purple.
Oh. He's beautiful though. He's
He is.
absolutely beautiful.
She's
On
got very
Thanksgiving
cute.
weekend, I had the same kind of thought you just talked about, and I went through closets and boxes. Now, to be fair, I didn't make it to Salvation Army yet, but I have 2 boxes of things to give away because they're just sitting in my closet and I don't need them. And then I put a bunch of stuff on Marketplace that I've gotten rid of about half of because it just, and then I look at my desk even as I'm sitting here on in this, I'm like, okay, this needs to definitely be the next room.
I know.
It definitely needs to be the next room.
Yes, both mine and Jeremy's offices are on the top of the list. They've been
Yeah.
on the top of the list for a couple of weeks and we've not gotten to them.
I want to throw this out here for anybody that's watching. If you have one of those desks that raise, I would love your feedback on whether you thought it was worth it to do. You know, in your mind, it's like, yeah, that's better for me to be able to stand up or sit down or do both or change our minds. But I don't want to make the investment if it became the treadmill of January purchase of January 1, and by January 15th, you're like, I'm never going to lift this thing up again. So I'd like feedback. So if you're watching and you have experience with that, let me know what you think about it, because I'd really like to, I'm considering it.
Jeremy also wants one of those. He's talked about it. So I see, well, not in this house, when we finally find the house that, or an offer is accepted on a house that we have presented an offer to. Yeah, he wants one of those too. So interesting.
Yeah,
Our
well, maybe
friend-
we'll both get some good feedback on what that looks like, how that really
yeah,
works.
yeah. So back to the book thing and how we have not read a book for pleasure, just entertainment, pure entertainment for years and years. It's so funny you said that, because Jeremy reads his types of books he's interested in is very cerebral. They're brainiac kind of topics, deep.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Not at all. And sometimes I see him reading a book that he just wants to read, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. It must be amazing.
So what kind of books do you like to read outside of business?
That's it.
I just don't even know I don't even know what to say. And admittedly, some people just are not natural readers. Audiobooks are good for them. They like movies. They get their entertainment feature from someplace else. But it's interesting that, like I said, it's no surprise knowing Jeremy that he likes that type of book. It probably won't be any surprise to anybody that I read a lot of murder.
Well, I
grew up a lot of true crime and a lot of murder stories.
Yeah, well, I grew up in the era of Danielle Steele. My mother read Danielle Steele and a couple other authors. She's the only one that really sticks out that I can remember. So she would finish a book and then I would read that book, But as an adult, I don't know. I'm having a menopause brain moment. I can't remember prior to reading all of these books that I have. Um, yeah, I don't think there was anything there prior to us meeting that I've held on to.
I always recommend if you're not a reader naturally, that there is a series of books written by Jean Auel called Clan of the Cave Bear. And it's that's the first book in the series. I think there's 5, there might be 6. Start there, because you'll be so enamored by the immersion into the story that you'll naturally want to see how it continues. It's like watching a soap opera, but in print. And then that will lead you to other kinds of books that you might want to read after you get through all of those. But that's one of my favorite series.
There is one I can't an author. I like thrillers, like it's the same thing with movies. You know, like action thrillers. Of course I read a couple of Stephen King books, but there's James Patterson I like.
Yeah,
John Grisham. Yes.
That's the book I just finished, was one of his. I hadn't read one of his in quite a while.
Yeah, I used to be obsessed with his books.
Yeah.
But then I'd read it. I got to a point where, and I don't know if it's age or just busy life, but I'd read a page, maybe 2, and I'd fall asleep. Yeah. So I'm like, it takes me too long to get through.
It took me all week to read that book because I kept falling asleep.
Yeah.
I've tried the Atomic Habits book that you recommended, that we've talked to a lot of people about, tried to change my reading time to first thing in the morning instead of coming right in and starting answering emails. And you know how early I get up. People get emails from me at 4:00 in the morning and they go, was your outbox on draft or something? And it does no, I was actually up that time composing that eloquent email that you got at 4:05. But I tried that in the morning. I try to do that in the morning instead. The habit of coming into my office is so strong that it's a real test of will to maybe I'm going to try to shut the door to my office, because if it's closed, maybe I won't automatically walk into it. And at that time of the morning, I'd probably walk into the door because I'm not awake yet. I have my first.
Yeah, I started reading in the mornings back in 2018 or 19, and it was fabulous.
Yeah, it is.
I
really don't fall asleep.
Right. Well, and in our other house, we had a electrical fireplace. I turn that on and get my coffee. And I will not open up a book unless I have a pen with me. So I can write in, and that helped me stay focused on reading, because I'm like squirrel.
Yeah.
I will be so
you know that about you.
Yeah.
No, and if you want to feel much better about your own life, then get on HBO Max and watch a few of those shows. I got somebody recommended, Xavier and Branche at Bunker Labs were talking about The White Lotus a couple of weeks ago. And I said, well, what is, and the conversation they were having was really fun because of what was happening in the show. So I started watching it, and I after the second episode, I felt tremendously better about my own life. Now I'm in the second season and I'm like, man, I have nothing to bitch about.
Well, sometimes we need those little reminders, even if it's through entertainment.
Yeah, definitely. So we've wasted 15 minutes of everybody's time just having a good time, but you and I never get to talk. So
I know, because we're always just working. So tomorrow night is our joint holiday party. So excited. Action Zone, of course, Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses, Project Transition USA, Ybor Entrepreneur and Advocacy Heroes, Bunker Labs, and we are sold out.
Yep.
We are sold
out.
Didn't
take long either. Didn't take long.
No, we were not anticipating such a large number of people, especially because we didn't get the word out just a week ago, even though we've been talking about it. But that just again is a demonstration of our community wanting to get together.
Yep.
So look for the next one in January. I hope to be able to announce the location tomorrow night, actually, at the party.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I'll drop, I won't drop the link since we're sold out.
Yeah. I mean, they can meet us at the bar after, I guess, but
Or they can make sure they get on Eventbrite and reserve a ticket, a free ticket, when we first announce it instead of waiting.
I know I had several people message me and I'm just like, I'm sorry. And you know, normally I would just be like, show up and ask for forgiveness later. But this particular venue, like the capacity is in a segregated, you know, room. So we're at capacity, unfortunately. But look for the pictures to see what you missed.
That wasn't very nice. I was
Well,
thinking the same thing, but that was not very, I didn't say it because it wasn't very nice.
no, it was not intended not to be nice. It was intended to
A cautionary tale.
yeah, well, for promote FOMO so that they will register early next time.
If they waited anyway, knowing that Action Zone people were going to be at this networking event, then they were in the wrong anyway, because they know that
Yeah.
it's always a good time. We
Yeah,
bring the party.
we
bring,
do.
as do the people from FAVOB and Project Transition, Bunker Labs, and
Mhm.
Ybor Entrepreneurs and Advocacy Heroes.
Yeah, founded by Army veteran Matthew Hall, who's attorney at Hill Ward and Henderson, and also has provided some sponsorship dollars towards our light appetizers. We're not feeding you a big meal. I had some, so I want to throw this out. I haven't asked for permission, but as I just said, I will ask for forgiveness later. For those of you that were not able to register in time for this holiday party, I would like to extend an invite to meet Rosie at the ECC December 17th, next Saturday, to watch Action Zone Activate cohort members deliver their business model canvas pitch.
What a great idea.
Yeah. So I know
Do
there's
we
a
have
lot
the space?
at the ECC.
I mean, you don't have to ask for forgiveness from me, but if Lynn has that space booked, you are SOL.
Uh-oh. I'll double check with her, but I still, the invitation stands. If you have any questions, you know, message me or Rosie or put a,
They better message you, because this is the first I've heard of it.
well, I say Rosie because I will be in Kentucky next Saturday. I will be there.
That was a perfect setup. You arrange it and then you fly to Kentucky. That is awesome.
I know. So wait, it's virtual.
It is.
Oh, so even better. It not even at the ECC. So if
Well,
you
that's why I was kind of wondering where you were going with this, where we put it on the big screen at the ECC. I am more than happy, and I would absolutely love it if people from are in the Zone Watchers, our Zonies, would join us on the Zoom. And I will put the Zoom link in this chat, because these people have worked so hard. All of the cohort members do every time. It's different when it's virtual, but we've been able to make it a very similar, if not even better in some ways, event or experience in the program. But you know, it's the cohort just delivering their business model pitch, which is a whole lot different than pitching your business to like an investor or any of those, a bank or somebody like that. They are demonstrating what they understand about their business, having completed the program. And they always get feedback in these business model pitches from the other cohort members who've been listening to them and their business idea, and the synergy between them has been working for the last 8 weeks. To have outsiders come in and hear their business model pitch for the first time and provide that kind of feedback would just be invaluable to them. In fact, we're going to make that pitch tomorrow night at the networking event, because it would be, we can have 100 people in the Zoom room. I would just love it if we could, but that was a great idea. She always has great ideas, folks, always.
And some of our cohort members that are listening are probably freaking out, but you can do it. You've got this. We need to send that Zoom link to the board so that they can participate as well. So I know Jeremy for sure will be there. Pitch competition or pitch, what was it? Business model pitch. I had something else to add to that. I can't remember right now, but
Myself a note so I don't forget.
Yeah, it's just awesome. Oh, we graduated. So this cohort graduates on Saturday, the 17th, the virtual cohort that we're referencing. The in-person Activate cohort graduated before Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving?
Before Thanksgiving.
Before Thanksgiving. Our Incubate cohort graduated this past Wednesday. And it was so, I mean, it was wonderful. It was a wonderful evening. You know, we were wrapping up, and it warmed my heart that one of the feedback comments was it just wasn't long enough, and they felt like they had so much more growing to do with this particular cohort, because there was just an incredible amount of synergy between all their businesses and founders. So they have elected to self-organize and still meet weekly. So I'm
That's
really
awesome.
excited about that. And Jason created a Slack channel for them so that they can stay connected and share their wins. And
You
know,
Justin?
yeah, Justin. Wait,
You said Jason.
Justin. Yeah, it's too many J's. I have a brother, Justin.
I know. and he's on your mind this week. So
Yeah, he is.
yeah.
Hey, I held a top secret security clearance for a number of years. I keep secret.
You didn't know who gave it to you because you could never remember their name.
Exactly. I am terrible with names. So, all right. Well, we got the marketing class. We got the holiday party. We now invitation to our business model pitches. What else?
I am sending out on Wednesday. Eventbrite will have the next online Q&A for the next in-person Action Zone Activate program. That will be actually we'll be talking about both Activate and Incubate. But there are some people that know that they need to be in Incubate. They've already been through Activate, or we've already interviewed them. Other people aren't sure where they fit in those two programs. You know, Activate helps them build their business model and understand the strategy they need to develop, the steps they need to get from where they are to where they want to be. And Incubate takes them from where they are to where they're going, and how they those operational challenges that seem to get in the way. So I'll be posting the online Q&As. The Activate program, next in person in Tampa, starts, I believe, on January 17th. And the next Incubate program, I should have had this open, right? That would have just been smarter. And I didn't do that, but bear with me. Okay, I have it up. The next Incubate, which is the second stage, you're generating revenue, or you are nearly generating revenue, and you need help getting past some of those challenges. The next one of those starts on January 12th. January 12th. And that's a virtual Incubate.
Is that the 12th or the 11th? I thought it was on Wednesdays.
You know what? It probably is on the 11th because we changed the date after I wrote the schedule. So yeah, January 11th. I'll make sure to change it on my.
And I think that the next Activate is Saturday, January 14th.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Okay.
And the Activate is in person in Tampa, and the Incubate is a virtual. So you'll be on Zoom every other week. But
that is open when we have virtual cohorts. That is open to the entire state of Florida.
That's correct. That's correct.
And then the in-person, you just got to get to Tampa.
And you have to want it, because I will tell you, when we first started this, it will be 5 years in May, believe it or not. When we first started this, we had somebody come over from Daytona Beach, Cape Canaveral area. We've had somebody that drove every week down from Gainesville to Tampa. There was somebody else that was quite a ways.
Sarasota, not as far, but Sarasota.
Yeah, but still a haul. It might be easier to get to Tampa from Gainesville than from Sarasota. But yeah, and that was when the program was 16 weeks long. Now we've got a incredibly effective program in 8 weeks, And so if you can come 8 Saturdays to Tampa,
Mhm.
we would love to have you. And so the virtual Q&As is an opportunity for people to learn about the program, what each of them are, what it consists of, what we expect, what we hope to provide them with, and then they decide if they want to participate or not.
Are they this week? The
No,
Q&A?
the Eventbrite is going out this week. It'll have all the
Oh,
dates.
okay.
They'll be on Wednesday nights from now till the first week of January. And then we have a lot of applicants, so I can't even, there are open seats. Don't be dissuaded, because we are famous for taking more people than we thought. We can't turn anybody away. Who can turn anybody
I
away?
know.
You
Yeah,
listen to their story and they're going, that's a great business idea. Come on, I'll squeeze you in.
Yeah, squeeze you in. I know. I wanted to share some of the wins from the Incubate
Please.
in these 3 months that they've been together. Mike had his first online sale. He did a test on Spousely. That was because the way the Incubate works is at the end of every session, you have an action item to complete before the next session, which is an action item based off of what you shared as one of your challenges. So he, yes, we Luminary on Spousely, Jeremy is like, for a first time run testing the market. Spousely is an easy one to get on. So Mike was able to get on there, made some purchases. So now he's got an item that he thinks that he can now sell online, so he can not have to just only do vendor shows, right?
Right.
Stacy, that was one of her action items as well, but because she had dog treats, she had to wait for kind of approval, because it's non-food items
Right.
on Spousely.com. And then let's see, I'm trying to go around the table because they all tend
Wait a
to.
minute, there was something else about Stacy that you told me this weekend that.
Oh, I thought I put that out already. She is in the black. She is,
Oh yeah, that's what we talked about last week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but in 11 months. So that's good for her, we're really excited. Damon, he realized that he has an app that he's paying for that has so much more, but will allow him so much more capabilities in his personal training business. And he is in the midst of proposing for a corporate wellness program. They actually sought him out, and so he's coming, he's working on that proposal.
Wow.
Sadhu got a contract with the state through CareerSource to teach cybersecurity. Those students in his cybersecurity training, he will then make interns in his company.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's very exciting. And he was, he admitted that it would have taken longer if we hadn't given the action items to move forward with that. Justin finally came up with his pricing sheet. That was one of his action items, and he's like, he uses it now for all of his businesses, that format. And he's got multiple. He picked up a retainer client, making it's an unbelievable amount monthly, and he's shocked. He's like, oh, you'll pay me that? So that's incredible. And then Katie, she's getting more of her systems and processes in place. She's finished her 12-week functional health certification. And so systems and processes has been the biggest challenge for her. So all of her action items that Jeremy's given her has helped her with that. And then Kimberly, finally, we've been able to help her get what's in her head out, so she's developed her business, or she's refined her business model. She had a couple of sessions with Russ, which of course blew her mind.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, some really, really strong wins that are moving the needle and helping to generate revenue for their businesses. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, this is just a great program for that second stage of early startup. Nobody can go from making their first sale to being profitable without some type of guidance. And it's whether you go out and network and look for guidance in those circles, or you find a mentor, or doesn't matter what you do, you just need something. And so I'm glad that Incubate has filled that gap.
Yeah, it's been pretty powerful. And they're all waiting for Activate, so we'll let them know when that comes on the
I mean,
calendar.
accelerate.
Yes, Accelerate. Yes, they're all looking for
That's what you
Accelerate.
meant.
That's what I meant. I literally have only had one cup of coffee this morning.
Oh, man, you need to get
Right.
up earlier and start earlier.
I know.
Although I
I've
know
had-
when you are, because you're texting me, I have a great idea. Like at
Well, I've
hours
been
that
up
you're
for
not
several
normally up.
hours. Yeah, no, I've been up for several hours. It's just I rolled out of bed and it's just hitting the ground running this morning. So with that, we both have a lot to do. Our zonies have a lot to do. Thanks for tuning in again this Monday morning for In the Zone, and we will see almost everybody tomorrow night at the Joint
So
Holiday
excited.
Hotel Hyatt.
Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.